So I wanted to make a video on how I acquire cheap and free tech. So let me show you. This guy was free. This guy was free. There's a laptop in there, that was free. A lot of my CDs here I get for really good prices. DVDs, I've had, I don't know, 400 or 500 of these DVDs on this DVD wall, all given to me for free. That computer free, that Xbox free, this CRT free, that CRT free, and I think that covers it. Oh, there was a Wii also. Sorry, it's hard to see. There's two Wiis there. Let's get into it though. Let me explain how I got this stuff for free or for very low cost. So there's a lot of ways, and I feel like this would apply to like a, I don't know, 13, 14-year-old kid. Man, you're struggling, you want a new computer or you want the latest console, but you're not working yet, so you don't have a lot of money. So what can you do? Well, if you got like $10 or $20, you can start getting into the market and start collecting this stuff. So I made a list of a few things that you can do to get some of this tech. Yeah, you're not getting the latest and greatest. You're not getting that PS5. You're not getting that 4090 or 4080 graphics card. But as long as you're okay with slightly older tech, and if you really work hard at it, sometimes you kind of get things that are slightly better than you would think. So where I would start, there's quite a few things that you could start with, but let's take a look at this. So for example, you could start at a thrift store. Now some of them can be rip-offs, that is true, but some of them are amazing. And I actually get a lot of my DVDs now from thrift stores. Let me just quick jump into that. So for these DVDs, what ended up happening is just people, because everybody wants to stream things now, so they just keep giving them away. So I had a guy come up to me and he said, he goes, "Are you into like movies and da-da-da? Because I heard you collect like electronics and da-da-da. So let people know that you collect electronics, or you're into old things, or you're into fixing stuff, or you're into just tinkering or playing with whatever. Let your friends and family know." This is my favorite way of acquiring electronics. This is almost how I have acquired everything that you see here. Is like, for me personally, this may not work for everybody, I get that, but me, for friends and family, this has been like my number one go-to. Is funny, I got somebody trying to get at my work trying to give me more CRTs, but as you can tell, I don't really need any more CRTs. I have no more room in this man cave of mine, but I got a guy at my work trying to give me CRTs right now. I don't need any more CRTs. Other places you can go are pawn shops. Pawn shops can be a rip-off like thrift stores, but I think that they can be really good sometimes. And truth be told, there's some pawn shops that I go to where they sell DVDs for 25 cents. But there's other pawn shops I go to that start selling them for $4 to $10. So it can be hit or miss. And it's the same with consoles, but in my experience, they sell consoles for too much. So yeah, you can put an ad on Kijiji asking for broken or old electronics. That works pretty well. My son used to do that, and he used to do pretty well with that. And people would message him, "Please come pick this stuff up. Come pick these heavy CRTs up." You can see that they are very gigantic, and people want these gone. Like, I get it, the retro community is kind of made these things so that they're trying to sell them for so much, but there's still tons of people like that is an HD CRT there. That's one of my favorite TVs of all time. I've talked about it in previous videos, but somebody did not want this and he just gave it to me for free. He put a message up, he goes, "Please come take this." Nobody would take it. It was up there for like 2 weeks, I guess. I don't even know how I didn't notice it, but I looked and I found it and I got it. And the same as this, these people threw it out on the front. They're like, "Please get this out of here." And so yeah, I came and grabbed that too. Find other like-minded people. There's other people like going to garage sales, doing thrift stores, fixing old electronics. There's lots of people like this. Find other like-minded people with that, and then you can trade when you start acquiring stuff for cheap prices. It works pretty well, trust me. I've made trades and stuff. Like, I got that PlayStation for like $5. I got kind of lucky though, because I got my son into this. I had shown him how to get into this, and my son effectively built a video game collection. So yeah, you can use Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji to find cheap deals. I highly recommend that. Facebook has, what do they claim, like 300, whether they're active users or not, I don't know, but there's just tons of people still selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and Kijiji is great too. You can always find Yes, it's the same as like the pawn and the thrift stores. Things are too expensive sometimes, but yeah, you want to get cheap stuff, it's there if you're willing to look. Sometimes it takes like looking every day, but yeah, that's how it goes. So now to wrap this whole thing up pretty quickly. So kind of basically somebody gave me that. The thing was broken and it wasn't broken. It really just needed an update, but Xbox is really like online only. But somebody goes, I've had it with this thing. I keep getting a black screen. I'm done with it. If you can fix it, you can have it. So I did. It just needed an update. Somebody just gave me that computer. It was just too old, right? Just whatever. I had a friend call me up the one day. He goes, man, my kids don't play this. As you can see, there's two Wii's there. You can kind of see the other one right there. He said, my kids don't play this thing. He goes, I want it out of my house. He goes, can I drop it off to you? Do you have a use for it? Of course I have a use for it, which I still haven't found a use for. I'm going to find a use for it. Wii's are really cool. In the old days, before I had these CRTs, I actually used to have one Wii mounted here and one Wii mounted there. Like I had them like mounted on the wall. That was when I used to only use my plasma TVs. But anyways, that's how I got that for cheap. This guy I found on, it's a 2012 plasma TV that I found for $125, which is a really good deal. If you can spend like $2,000 on a TV, but if you don't need to have the latest and greatest, which I think plasma TVs are generally better than almost any TV on the planet, there you go, great deal. That CRT, somebody had it sitting in his garage, and he goes, and he knows me, and he goes, you collect CRTs, right? Somebody had given it to him at his work. He gave it to me. This guy, somebody gave it to me. It was messed up. Like I don't know, it had like a locked BIOS. It was just sitting there, and he goes, if you can get it working, you can have it. And had to come up with some clever way. I had to install Pop OS on a hard drive on a different computer and then plug the hard drive in here to get past the lock BIOS. But that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. And then CD wise, yeah, I listen to a lot of metal CDs, so those kind of cost a lot. But I go to thrift stores all the time and I find cheap CDs. Like for example, I was at a thrift store today and I paid $1 for that. And I know people will pay like their Spotify subscriptions and stuff. I don't know how much that stuff costs, but when you're getting CDs for $1 and CDs sound far superior to streaming, and when you're getting DVDs for free or for 25 cents, like I'm totally down for that. But I hope that helped, like especially if you're a young guy and you don't have like a good job and you're not ready or you're not old enough to work or whatever. I feel like these are really good ways that you can get into it, because I watched my son do it really well. He did it really well for 2 years. He built up this giant collection of electronics and did it for practically nothing and made a killing doing it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day. Another interesting one is Know Your City. So in my city, we have these like, it's this one place. There's like actually kind of, to be honest, there's like kind of like a few places, but they got these like e-waste centers and they like recover stuff and then they kind of fix it up and they'll put like Linux on the computers, because obviously they don't have like the license for Windows or whatever, but they'll sell you these cheap computers and you can go in there, you can walk in there and get a computer from like anywhere from like $5 to $50.